Hello everyone and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars review. First and foremost, before we get underway with today's review, I do want to apologise that it's been so long since my last video. What with the release of Star Wars, The Force Awakens, the holiday season and things in between, since before Christmas it's just been really difficult to find some spare time to shoot reviews. But rest assured, I'm back. I've got some really exciting products to show you and we're going to kick things off right where we left off before Christmas with some more products from Star Wars The Force Awakens. Today we're going to take a look, as I said, at a LEGO set, and it is of course none other than this one. Set number 75105, the Millennium Falcon. This is an absolutely phenomenal set, definitely one of the highlights of the Force Awakens lineup of LEGO sets, and it's just an amazing product. The minifigure selection with this one, the finished product itself once the set is put together, it's just awesome and I really love this set. So with that in mind, a huge thanks and a shout out goes out to the guys at the LEGO Group and Norton & Co for sending this one out for a review, and thanks to them I'll have some really cool LEGO sets to give you a look at over the course of the next year. Now this particular set does retail at the moment for $129.99, which does sound a little bit pricey, but when you consider the fact that the piece count on this one is 1,329, you really do get a nice substantial build, and like most of the time with these LEGO sets, the price per brick ratio does really work out. So it's a phenomenal set, as I mentioned. Just the way it looks, the functionality, the playability, everything about this one is awesome. I can't wait to share it with you in more detail. So obviously this is the front of the box, and we have some really cool artwork of the Millennium Falcon there escaping the desert plains of Jakku. You also have down in the bottom corner the lineup of minifigures that are included, and I'll give you a look at those in just a second. On the reverse side we have a rundown of some of the features that the Falcon has, such as all the opening panels, firing missiles, all that sort of stuff, and some more images down the side there, and those really cool technical readouts at the top as well. So really cool packaging for this one, really nice box indeed. It's rather large. So there we go, very cool box for the Falcon. So moving on to the set itself, and as always we'll take a look at the minifigures first, and the first figure that I want to give you a look at is this guy. This is a brand new character. This is Tsu Leech. This guy is the leader of Kanji Club, and as we saw in The Force Awakens, these guys have a little bit of a deal to settle with Han Solo. Now for those of you that haven't seen the film, which by now is an atrocity, you should have seen the film if you're watching this review. I'm not going to give too much away about some of the plot points. I'll wait till the DVD's been out and all that sort of thing, but you will get a little bit more background into some of these new characters with some of my Force Awakens reviews. So as I said, Tsu Leech is the leader of Kanji Club, and I really like the way that LEGO have handled this minifigure. I think they've captured the likeness really, really well. I love that facial print. He looks very cool indeed. The skin tone is nice and accurate as well. You've got some really nice printing on the torso and on the legs. As you can see, the hairpiece is a recycled and repainted Qui-Gon Jinn hairpiece from The Phantom Menace, and that's just been painted in black. And it's a fairly accurate representation of how Tsu Leech styles his hair in the film, so no problems with that. As you can see, weaponry wise, he does come with a rather ancient looking blaster pistol, which nicely reflects the sort of primitive look of the weapons that Kanji Club uses. And I do believe that this guy has a double print on his head. As you saw a moment ago, he has a grimace on one side, and then on the opposite side he has this more neutral expression. It's a very, very cool character indeed. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him in the film, but there is a 3 3/4 inch action figure from Hasbro coming out of this guy as well. So I'm definitely going to have to pick that one up if I see it. Very cool indeed. So that is Tsu Leech, the Kanji Club gang leader. And next up we do have a Kanji Club gang member. This guy is unnamed at the moment. We don't have an actual character name for this one. But I really like this one again. The details on him are fantastic. I really love that print on the torso. I think that looks really, really cool, nicely detailed. As you can see, those prints do continue onto the legs and onto the reverse side of the figure. You've got this really cool sort of pirate look to this guy with the skull cap or the head wrap on the head there, and also the eye patch over his face. And again, like with Tsu Leech, comes with some rather cool looking weapons. These are sort of recycled sort of pirate weapons from the LEGO Pirates theme, but they do suit these characters really well. I must admit, I would have liked to have seen maybe either the Guavian Death Gang or perhaps the Kanji Club gang member that we saw in The Force Awakens that had all the circuitry and pipes coming out of him. He looked a little bit like Borg from Star Trek, so it would have been nice to have seen a few more interesting scum and villainy type characters in this set, but I'm pretty certain we'll see those later on down the line. So there we go, that is the Kanji Club gang member. Next up we have the heroes of The Force Awakens, and the first one is of course none other than the very cool Atomech BB8. This is the same BB8 minifigure that we got with Poe Dameron's X-Wing fighter. Again, a decent figure. I like the size and proportions on this one. The only thing that I don't like about the BB8 minifigure are the studs on the top and bottom of the figure itself. Just get the camera to zoom in on that there. I think those studs take away from the overall design and the overall look of the minifigure. I'm not hugely keen on those, but detail wise, in terms of the prints, nice and accurate and very, very cool. So, bit of a hit and miss figure, but I dare say at some point we will see a variation on BB8 in the LEGO theme. So that's BB8. Next we have some very cool characters. We have none other than Rey, who in many ways stole the show in The Force Awakens. She was easily one of the best characters, really showed some guts against Kylo Ren, and she was just a very, very cool character indeed. It was really nice to see her in action in the film, see what she can do, what she was capable of, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her in action in episode 8. So kudos to Daisy Ridley for portraying such a fantastic character. This is the same Rey minifigure that we saw in the Rey Speeder set that I've previously reviewed. This time around though, Rey doesn't come with the amount of accessories that she did with that set. Rather than coming with the satchel and the staff and the head wraps, she just comes with the silver blaster pistol that Han Solo gives her just before they enter Maz Kanata's castle on Takodana, and the one that she also uses later on against the stormtroopers and against Kylo Ren. As you can see, the prints on the torso and legs are nice once again. You've got those sort of desert Jakku wrappings on the torso, some nice details on the belt, and these prints continue around the back of the figure. As you can see, the hair is captured really nicely once again, and we do have a double print on Rey's head. So on one side we have this determined, battle-hardened look, and then if we flip the hair around, we have a much more pleasant and happy smile. So very cool figure indeed. Can never get too much of Rey, so it's really nice to see her again in this set. Next up we have possibly one of my favourite characters from The Force Awakens, and that is this guy, Finn. Portrayed absolutely fantastically by John Boyega in The Force Awakens. He really did a good job of playing this character. I found his dialogue to be absolutely fantastic. The portrayal of the character by John was awesome, and I'm just very, very impressed with Finn. I was a little bit sceptical prior to the movie's release about his character, where he was going to fit in, what he was going to do, but once we saw him in action, I absolutely loved him. So again, big thumbs up to John Boyega for that performance. The minifigure is really cool as well. As you can see, LEGO have captured the likeness reasonably well for a LEGO minifigure. You've got that really cool short black hair going on there, and a very confused yet battle ready look on his face. Once again, we do get a double print with this guy, so if you flip the hair around, on the opposite side we have a much more neutral expression, and as you can see there are some fantastic printed details on his resistance jacket that of course he does borrow from Poe Dameron. So very cool indeed, and as you can see he does have the blaster rifle included as well. This minifigure is also available in the Battle on Takodana set, and in that particular set he does come with Luke's lightsaber, so that's a variant for you guys to track down if you want to. So that's Finn, again very cool character and an equally cool figure. Next we have the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon, Chewbacca. And again, this is the same Chewbacca figure that we've seen in many previous LEGO sets. This is the figure that debuted in the Droid Gunship set from 2014, so you've got this new head and torso piece with some highlights in the fur and just a little bit more detail in the overall look itself. And there have been some slight modifications made to this figure though. As you can see, he does come with a modified bowcaster, which has now been added with the stud firing mechanism at the front there, which looks absolutely fantastic. I'm a really big fan of the look of this bowcaster. You know, for too many years now, Chewie has just used a very primitive sort of Knights, is it LEGO Knights theme crossbow that we've seen numerous times before, so it's really nice to see him get a new weapon, and we actually get to see this thing in action in the movie, which is awesome as well. So very cool to finally see that. So nothing much to say on the Chewbacca front. I've covered this guy in more detail in previous reviews. So moving on, we do of course have, in my opinion, the highlight minifigure wise from this set, and that is of course none other than the captain of the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo. Really like this figure. I think that LEGO have done a fantastic job with it. It's really cool to finally see the sort of shaggier hairstyle used for Han, albeit grey and a little bit aged. We've also got some wrinkles and age lines on the face as well, but that cocky smile still remains. And you'll also see we do have the brown leather jacket with the shirt underneath and the holster and belt painted on the legs. Very cool figure indeed. Absolutely love the overall look of this guy. And of course he does come with his trademark blast pistol and a double print on his head. So if we flip the hair around, on the opposite side we have a much more concerned expression on the face. So very, very cool figure indeed. Really nice to see this guy. So that's the minifigures. You'll see a few of these in action later on in the review. I'll place them around the Falcon and give you guys an idea of how they look inside it. But now we're going to move on to the main attraction, and that is of course none other than the Millennium Falcon itself. Now, as I said, this set is absolutely phenomenal, and here it is. Size, detail, just everything about this one is superb, and I'm really, really impressed with how LEGO have handled this one. Now, some of you may recognise the main design of the Falcon from the 2011 set. This one has been modified slightly to feature some new details. Some of the sections of the ship itself have been modified and improved. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, because I haven't reviewed the 2011 release, and also I don't really want to drag this review out for too long, so I'm just going to focus on the details that come solely with this ship, and let me tell you, they are fantastic. So we're going to jump right in and talk about some of the external details. So first and foremost, we do of course have the modified radar dish on the top, which of course the original circular dish is damaged by Lando in Return of the Jedi during the Death Star attack, so it's nice to see a change there. This is actually a stickered piece in the centre, so you do have those printed details on there which look really cool. You've obviously got the cockpit on the opposite side, and as you can see inside there are Rey and Chewbacca. Rey now the new pilot, or new captain it would seem, of the Millennium Falcon, due to the ill fate of Han Solo unfortunately. I'll go into more detail about that in a future review. As you can see, we've got some really cool details on the front. You've got these two sections here, these two ports or vents, which on previous releases were just solid circular pieces with just stickers or printed details on them. This time around they've actually been made into holes so that you can stick your finger down there and actually flick the end of the flick fire missiles that are located at the front of the ship. So if you stick your finger in there, give it a tap, the missiles will fire out, which is very, very cool indeed. Obviously all these panels on the top of the Falcon do open up, and we'll take a look at those in just a little bit. As you can see, the radar dish itself is actually on a ball and socket joint, so you can pose that around as you so wish. You've also got a cannon, rotating cannon, on the top of the Falcon, as you can see, which rotates 360 degrees. Nicely put together and looks very, very cool indeed. As you can see, also this cannon canopy, as it's called, just lifts up like so, and that gives you access inside the turret itself, and you've actually got this seating area where you can place 2 minifigures to operate the cannons, and obviously you can close that up. And on the bottom of the Falcon, bear with me while I hold this one up, you'll see we do have a cannon on the bottom as well, which is very cool. There's also some landing gear, which sadly isn't retractable, but if you want to fly this thing around and have it displayed without the landing gear, you can just choose not to add those to the bottom of the ship. So I think for the most part, that is the external details pretty much covered. Obviously you've got the fluorescent blue tube at the back to replicate the engine detail, which again looks really, really cool. And you've got some more stickers on some of those vents and ports at the back. So moving on to the internal details, and we'll start by lifting the large panel at the front. This is a nice improvement over the 2011 release, as rather than just lifting up and standing at a vertical point, this now descends down into the front of the ship and is stored away in a nice compact manner, which I really do like. Nice bit of design there on the part of LEGO. And then obviously the rest of the panels do open up like so to expose the internal details of the Falcon. Now, as I said, the internal section, or the interior of the Falcon, has been modified to obviously replicate the age and the fact that the Falcon has been left abandoned seemingly on Jakku for the past few years. As you can see, particularly at the back of the Millennium Falcon, there is quite a lot of junk, crates, tools, spare parts, all that sort of stuff just lying around in the back, which looks really cool. Actually adds quite a lot of depth and detail to the interior section, which I really, really like. You've got some stickered panels in there as well, which again add a bit more detail. You've got some nice pipes lying around. Just really cool details overall. I really do like all these bits of junk and debris and all that sort of stuff lying around in there. At the front of the interior, we of course have the famous detachable table there, which again has been modified to feature more details. If I just flip the Falcon around for you, you'll see there that there's actually been some stickers applied to the seating area just to add some of that padded detail, and again the detachable table itself has been altered slightly just to provide a more faithful representation. You've also got the captain's seat there at the front with a nice control panel, which I actually prefer on the 2011 release. On this particular set it's just one stickered panel, whereas on the 2011 Falcon that control panel was made up of all different pieces, which just looked absolutely phenomenal and would be very hard to replicate, especially with one sticker. That seat is on a swivel and also on a hinge, so you can place a minifigure at the controls. So we'll do that with Han. As you can see, he can reprise his role as captain of the Falcon. Very cool indeed. And of course you can also place minifigures in the seating area around the detachable table. If I can do this without dropping the entire thing. There we go. You see Finn there. Very cool indeed. As you can see, just next to the detachable area, there is the smuggler compartment. Now I've actually opened this prior to the review just to give you a better look at it, because it's very tricky to get in there and actually open the panel up, or with that roof panel there which is fixed in place and doesn't actually open up. It's quite difficult to get your fingers in there and open that one up, so I've just done that prior to filming the review just to give you a better look. But that's the smuggler compartment, and then on the opposite side we do have the entrance ramp, which just pops down like so. You've also got a spanner or a wrench clipped to the wall on the interior as well, and some beds at the back for your crew to take a rest if needed. So all in all, I think I've pretty much covered everything inside the interior of the Falcon. It's fantastically detailed again. I absolutely love all these crates and bits of junk lying around at the back of the Falcon. really adds some age and some depth to the character of the Falcon in many ways, because the Falcon is now a character in the Star Wars universe. It doesn't just, you know, represent a ship. It is its own character, it has its own personality, and it's captured really nicely in this set. So definitely, again, a big thumbs up to LEGO for their design of this set. Again, some of the modifications that have been made are only minor and only a slight improvement over the 2011 release, but for me personally, this is the best Millennium Falcon released by LEGO yet, and I highly recommend this set. So if you want to pick this one up for yourself, there's a link down below in the video description that will send you to Amazon.com, where you can pick this one up right now. So that's going to do it for this review on set number 75105, and once again, that's the Millennium Falcon from LEGO. An absolutely awesome set, highly recommended, and I can't wait to see what you guys think of this one. I'll be back with another LEGO Star Wars review next. I'll actually be giving you a look at a set from Star Wars Rebels in my next review, so stay tuned for that. So until next time, as always, thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.